All right, Kyle. High school football fans, the Detroit Sports Commission's 2013 Prep Kickoff Classic will be here before you know it. The first weekend of high school football is sure to be better than last year. Last year was pretty good. The lineup is still being finalized, but I can assure you, you will want to be out at Wayne State for a weekend of superb prep football in late August. For details, please go to DetroitSports.org. We'll keep you up to date as well on state champs. We'll talk about the rapid ascension of sports at Lawrence Tech and let the Michigan State football recruit debate begin. That's next.
We want you. We are LTU, Lawrence Technological University, and is one of the nation's best schools for engineering, architecture, and technology. We don't want just anybody. We want students who are curious and driven, students who want to change the world through technology, science, and design. So if you believe that possible is everything, we want you at LTU.
Attention football players and coaches. The Oakland Yard and Athletes Edge USA announced the High School Skeleton 7v7 Passing League, designed for quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, tight ends, linebackers, and defensive backs. 3 divisions, U16, U18, and open varsity. Sunday games with MHSAA officials March 10 through May 19. And with the indoor-outdoor Oakland Yard facility, there is never a rainout. The Skeleton 7v7 Passing League. Register at oaklandyard.com today. College scholarships are determined on an athlete's combine results. Improve your scores with combine performance training from Athletes Edge USA. Speed training expert and performance coach Jim Brown's athletes were the top overall performers in 5 of the last 7 Michigan Prep Rivals combines. Jim's helped over 500 athletes get college scholarships and guarantees to improve your times in the 40-yard dash, shuttle, bench press, and vertical jump. Reserve your spot at athletesedgeusa.com.
Speed is a skill that needs to be learned. We have taught thousands of athletes to run fast. We can teach you too.
Students can learn from the safety of your home with Oak Park Virtual Academy. Enroll in Oak Park Virtual Academy from any location in the Detroit metro area. Students are provided all the necessary equipment and an internet connection if needed. The online curriculum is supported by teachers who are in scheduled contact with students and parents. Go to myvirtualacademy.com/Oak Park or call 800-297-2119 extension 257 and discover a new way of learning and living with Oak Park Virtual Academy. Commercial free the rest of the way. How about that? Welcome back to State Champs Signing Day Special. The Michigan State Recruit Brouhaha is next. We talked to the cross-country National Coach of the Year, and our panel is going to give us a preview on the top guys to look out for from the class of 2014. Can somebody say Drake Harris? Okay, I digress. I have to tell you, there is not a university anywhere in the nation that supports high school sports like Lawrence Tech. If that surprises you, it shouldn't, because it's true. Now, they are really committed to spreading the word about the wide variety of college athletics offered at LTU. Joining me now is the athletic director at Lawrence Tech, Scott Trudell. Scott, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Lauren?
All right. Why don't you give us first a brief history lesson on the history of athletics for the Blue Devils?
No problem. It's been about 48 years since we had athletics, so it's been some time. But in the 50s and 60s, we were known in the Detroit area as having a powerhouse in basketball. We used to sell out Olympia Stadium, State Fairgrounds. I mean, the pictures that they had, they were awesome to see. Sold out like 10,000 fans at a game. Crazy. So that was a little bit of our history, and we're starting to make some history here in the last 2 years. We just fired up some NAIA athletics, and we're full bore now.
Yeah, why that decision? Why now?
I think we just wanted to change a little bit of our campus culture, give students something to cheer on. You know, not make it so much a commuter school. A lot of people only know us as architecture and engineering, but we want to bring kids on campus, have them live on campus, not be a commuter school, and just add some school spirit for sure.
And it's working.
Oh, yeah.
The culture
absolutely.
has changed.
Yeah, it's great to see all the blue and white walking around the campus and doing things like homecoming, bring back some alumni, and doing a Winterfest. Those things have really helped out with the campus spirit.
Yeah, and I must say Midnight Madness was off the hook. No doubt about it. Tell me, give the viewers here a list of the sports you offer now at LTU.
We have men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, men's and women's cross country, men's bowling, women's volleyball, men's hockey, and I believe
lacrosse.
And men's lacrosse.
It's
that's
coming.
Right. That's right. We have men's lacrosse starting right up here in March, so it's exciting. Next year we'll be adding in women's lacrosse and women's bowling as well.
Yeah, we've had the pleasure of doing many streaming broadcasts so far. Men's and women's basketball. We've got hockey. We're going to be doing some lacrosse. Maybe some bowling. I mean, who knows? We're having a good time doing it and just celebrating Lawrence Tech. How are the teams doing?
You know, they're doing well for their first year. They're competing in a lot of games. Obviously, there's been a few road bumps in the way being as young as we are, but the coaches have brought in mostly freshmen to build this foundation because it's going to take 2 or 3 years to get the teams actually where we need to be. Yeah. But it's been fun. You know, it's great to see people coming out to the games and, you know, having some pom-poms and some alumni coming out from guys that used to play in the 60s coming out to games. And, you know, they just light up like Christmas trees. So it's awesome to see. And
quickly tell me how a recruit can contact LTU. This is really cool.
BlueDevilAthletics.com, our website. Thousands of hits every day. It's been crazy, but that's the best way for sure. Go on there, fill out a Recruit Me form. The coaches will then contact them because they'll have all their information. They can come out and watch a game even.
Absolutely. So. Check it out. Continued success.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Scott. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time has come. Who's going to Michigan? Who's going to Michigan State? I send it back to Kyle at the desk with his insiders.
Thanks, Lauren. It is time to talk Michigan and Michigan State. I am incredibly surprised, but also very happy to be joined by a couple of gentlemen today. Directly to my left, Mr. Rico Beard of SpartanMag.com is a part of Rivals.com. And to his left, I'm surprised I'm not standing in the middle of these two, Sam Webb from GoBlueWolverine.com is a part of FoxSportsNext.com. Gentlemen, how are we doing today? Aside from you two standing next to each other.
Oh, I like Sam.
Hey, I love Rico. I'm honored to be in your presence, man, I must say.
I just can't wait to hear the Michigan spin.
Well, let's
get it started.
Actually, we're going to start with Michigan State, so let's get right into that.
15 seconds?
Yeah, about that 10.
A little bit more,
seconds.
maybe a little bit more, maybe 30. Okay. Can we give you 30?
I'll try and fill it.
We'll negotiate that later. You know, first off, let's talk about who they're going to replace, you know, in this class because they lost a couple of juniors. You got William Golston and Deion Sims from the state of Michigan. Then you also got Le'Veon Bell at the running back spot. So how does Michigan State go about replacing some of those guys in this class 2013?
In this class, I think the only ones that may replace them are the running backs. I don't think that any of the defensive players, they're going to probably all redshirt. But coming in, you're going to have a couple of guys. R.J. Shelton, I think, is a main guy, running back from Wisconsin. He's going to be in the mix this summer. They're going to probably try out 5 backs and hoping that one can take Le'Veon's spot and probably share duty with Nick Hill. The back coming out of Flint, I'm thinking he's probably going to redshirt. R.J. Shelton is going to be the guy who probably will have any type of impact on this team.
And speaking of needs, you know, to shift over to Michigan, I think up front it was something that Brady Hoke talked about from the beginning, that Michigan needed to upgrade, and I don't think there's any doubt in this 2013 class. They've been able to do that starting with the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, Michigan, there was a dearth of offensive linemen when they got there. They didn't have a 2-deep their first spring practice. But besides that, there's an attitude with the style of play. They kind of go hand in hand. And I think you had some nice guys. I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. Had some nice guys, and it's great to have nice guys off the football field, but I think you want some mean, angry, nasty guys on the football field, and that's what they got. And a guy like Patrick Kugler, 5-star All-American guy, #1 offensive guard in the country. I think Patrick Kugler is going to be a special football player. He's the son of a coach, former Pittsburgh Steelers line coach, Sean Kugler, and it is the case that you can see that high football IQ. He has the kind of explosiveness and power that you just don't typically see at the center position. He can pull, he can get to the second level of the defense, and he has that disposition that you see not only in him, but in Kyle Bosch, in David Dawson from Detroit Cass Tech. These are guys that block you and step on you when they're done. And I think that's what, and not to get personal fouls, not to be like guys from
I was about to say,
Spartan land over there,
but
still, you have that attitude that I think they want to have up front in Ann Arbor.
And a real
so in
emphasis.
other words, they were soft.
No, in other words, you don't want a bunch of personal foul penalties like we saw in a couple of games in this place called East Lansing over the past couple of years.
Didn't you get yards for those penalties?
I'm just saying.
Did you use those yards well?
I'm just saying we don't want to see games where you have a lot of yellow laundry on the field. That's all I'm saying. Fans don't like to see that.
And aside from the 15-yard personal foul penalties, a big emphasis in East Lansing as well is the linebacker position, and they have 2 more coming in this class to go with some of the talent they've been able to develop. That's Shane Jones, and you got John Reschke from Brother Rice.
Shane Jones, I think, unfortunately, because there's so many linebackers, will probably redshirt. Reschke may play simply because he is the guy that they've pegged to take over for Max Bulla. So kind of how Greg Jones mentored Max Bulla his freshman year, Bulla, I think, is going to mentor Reschke so that when Bulla leaves, it's going to be Reschke's show to call the defense for the next few years. He's a great sideline tackler, one of the top players in the state of Michigan. I think, he will probably be one of the 3 of the incoming class that will actually see time this year.
I think he's going to be a special player, Johnny Reschke. The transition he made from his junior season to senior season, where he was just moving into the linebacker position, senior year, he took it to another level. Not just physically, his body was different, but mentally as well. Rico, you were just talking about. You saw him diagnosing plays, so it was see ball, get ball all year. He was one of the top linebackers, not only in the Midwest, but in the entire country. John Reschke. So I think he will be the next in the long line of really good Michigan State linebackers.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder. I was going to have each of you say something nice about Michigan State's class, then Michigan's class.
I say a lot of
so
nice
you
things
said
about Michigan State.
You did your part. You said something really nice about Mr. Reschke.
I use it like this guy can't find a nice thing.
Now Rico, Michigan. Now it's your turn. Say something nice about Michigan's class. What do you think about them in 2013?
I think that Michigan's class, Sam kind of hit on it, the offensive linemen that they got coming in. In all seriousness, it needed to be upgraded. You had adequate people playing the line, but now, you got some people who are going to come out there and get the job done. And I think immediately you may not see the dividends, but in 3 years, you may see an Alabama-type line at Michigan where you're going to have a lot of first-round picks, not just the Taylor Lewan, but you may have 3 or 4 guys looking at first-round selections in the NFL.
Shane Morris talked about a lot in Michigan's class 2013, but it all starts with the quarterback. As fans saw in East Lansing this past fall, you guys are bringing in a quarterback in class 2013 in Damian Terry, who can do a lot of different things.
He is. He's going to be a dual-threat quarterback. I think maybe the first true dual-threat quarterback they've had since Drew Stanton. It's talk that he may get thrown into the mix. I think he's going to end up redshirting. But I do see him maybe as that quarterback of the future. The way football is going now, you look in the pros, and you want that guy who, if the play breaks down, can pick up 15, 20 yards. So I think Damian Terry, and at least on Rivals, he had just picked up his 4th star. I think Scout already had him at a 4th star. I think that he's a good quarterback. He lit up his division in Pennsylvania, won the state title. I think that's a guy, once again, where D'Antonio showed, I'm going to go and find somebody nobody has seen before, and I'm going to make him my own, and he did that with Terry.
And Michigan State has built a program on that. Sam, quickly, the cornerback position, the secondary in general, huge emphasis for Michigan. They're bringing in a lot of guys.
You look at the size issue that they've had at cornerback, and Michigan really addressed that this year. You saw in the past couple of years a bunch of guys under 6 feet. Now you bring in a Rion Dawson who's 6'2". At one corner. You look at the other corner, you look right here in Detroit Cass Tech, and while Jordan Lewis may be sub 6 feet, he can come in and play over the slot right away. So you have a couple of guys right there that can come in and give you some time, and then you got some versatility in the defensive backfield as well. There was a kid that we saw at camp named Channing Stribling, who a lot of people thought was safety. He showed you at 6'2". He can also play corner. Might be a red shirt guy to start out, but a guy that's really going to be able to come in and help them, I think, down the line as well.
Running back, another position Michigan was looking to address in this class, and they already have one in Davion Smith, a running back out of Ohio, and then they go and they add the #1 running back in the country in Derek Green out of Virginia. What is he like, and what kind of impact is he going to have in Ann Arbor?
He is a tremendous football player. Got a chance to finally see him up close down in San Antonio. You knew he was big. You knew he had really good vision, but his feet and his ability to catch the football out of the backfield, they are true difference-making type of abilities. I think fans, if they saw Eddie Lacy in the national title game, that gives you a mental picture of what we're talking about. This is a big guy that can run to daylight. And I think you saw in the bowl game for Michigan, all of a sudden, you saw Denard Robinson line up in tailback position, and he gets, he rushes for the most yards that a running back has all season. Well, why? Same guys blocking up front against a really good defensive front. Well, what you saw was a back with vision. Well, now, with Derek Green, you have a big back with great vision, with nice burst. He runs behind his pads. And my coach used to say, a guy would run with things on his mind. That's what happens when he's running guys over down the football field. Derek Green runs with bad intentions. He's a mean, angry runner and a difference-making type of recruit for Michigan.
Well, we made it through it. I appreciate you guys giving me so much of your time. Who wins this fall?
Michigan State. Unless the 6-star Shane Morris comes out.
Well, I'm just wondering who's going to be quarterback for Michigan State this year.
Andrew Maxwell.
Really? Yeah. And he's going to complete some passes?
Enough to beat Michigan.
Really?
Did Michigan score a touchdown this year?
Well, we could do this for hours,
the
guys.
Did they score a touchdown this year?
I mean, who's going to run the ball for Michigan State?
Who's going to run the ball for Michigan?
I'm just saying.
Last time I checked, it was Denard.
I think we're going to find out this fall. I appreciate all the time, guys.
It was a banner season for the Birmingham Sea Home Cross Country team as they earned their first ever state title. Now, I stress again, state champs is about celebrating all high school sports. Now, not only were they the best team in Michigan, but in the country. Their coach, the National Coach of the Year. I'm pleased to have with us here in studio Jeff DeVantier and team captain Mallory Wilberding. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
All right. Well, this was such a magical season, and even some of us who follow the sport didn't really see it coming. So talk about, Coach, first off, just your expectations coming into 2012.
Well, the expectations were simple. We felt after last year's fourth-place finish that we were ready to make a run at a title. And it would depend on a number of things, leadership as well as staying healthy. And both those things came through for us.
Yeah, and the talent pool, Mallory. I mean, the crop of runners, it's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about it. The competitiveness.
It was competition from day one. There was never a time when you could be comfortable with your position. If you were feeling something during practice, you immediately knew you couldn't waste your time getting healthy. You had to get back because you couldn't miss one day. So it was very intense all the time.
Yeah, and you guys took that intensity right in to the state meet, and a remarkable achievement, really, when you look at how it all played out. Your reaction, first coach, to when you saw the final times and where you guys were?
Well, the first reaction was just one of, I would say, basic elation. I was thrilled for the team, for the girls. We had worked so hard for this. And it was nice to see, especially this group of senior girls, go off with a state championship.
Yeah, how long was it before you guys were notified that you were the #1 team in the country?
Oh, that was it the next day? It was
next day.
The next day we found out, and I got, I woke up to a text from Jeff saying, look at your email, look at this, we're #1 in the country. And I called my parents and my sisters, I ran out of my room screaming, like, guys, look at this, and let them all know, and texted the whole team, and it was great.
Yeah, now, Coach, Mallory's had a great journey.
Oh,
right,
definitely.
and talk about the I guess we'll call it the concussion story.
Well, to make it quick, basically the year before, Mallory was on the varsity team. I think the race went off. About 200 meters into the race, she got knocked down. Not only knocked down, but knocked down hard enough where she actually hit her head. Ran for a while, kind of fell back down, threw up a little bit. Hate to say that kind of stuff.
No, right.
But, she basically ran. It actually got up, finished the race way behind, and actually passed about 70 to 75 runners from the time she got up. Showed a lot of guts, a lot of determination, and it showed something also about her as an athlete. She's not one that's going to give up easily.
Absolutely. So what are your plans for college and running in college?
Well, I'm looking at D1 schools or Big Ten. I haven't committed anywhere yet. I still have my last visit next weekend. So I guess we'll see. I want to sign by February 6th, but I don't know yet.
Okay. And how about where some of your other talented runners will be going?
Well, Mallory's sisters, Tess and Aubrey.
They're triplets, by
Yes.
the way. She is one of three. Sorry.
Yes. Aubrey, I think, is making a decision sometime soon between probably Ohio State and Michigan State. And Tess is already committed to Iowa. And then we also have 2 other runners. Another captain, Kendall Weiner, is going to be either going to DePaul or Denison. And then we have Allison Wegner, who is also choosing, I think, between Tulane and Rice.
All right, thank you guys. A great season, remarkable season, and best of luck in the future. Track season's right around the corner. And remember, you can watch all of the other sports that don't get a lot of coverage, whether it's in the newspaper or on television, State Champs every Sunday morning. Check it out. 10 years, over 350 shows, 3 Michigan Emmy Awards. State Champs High School Sports Show is the longest running and most decorated network high school sports show in the great state of Michigan history. Join us 40 weeks a year for the most comprehensive high school sports show anywhere. Sunday mornings at 11:30 a.m. on CW50 Detroit, and now in Western Michigan on WOTV ABC4. State Champs is the centerpiece of the State Champs Sports Network. If it's Sunday, it's State Champs. All right, back now on the main stage for our final segment. Where is the time gone? Tom Markowski, Alan True, Kyle Bogenschutz here. And gentlemen, it's time to talk about what's next. The class of 2014. Everybody gets fired up for this. Let's work our way from 1 to 5. Let's start with number 1. Really needs no introduction. Drake Harris, 5-star wide receiver out of Grand Rapids Christian, 6'3", 175. Committed to Michigan State, but now since he has decided he is not going to play both basketball and football at the next level, it's wide open. We all know Urban Meyer was in the living room, and of course, Alabama came a-calling just recently. So, Tom, your thoughts?
Well, I think he might be the best player in the state now, regardless of class. Not only is he a 5-star recruit, but he's a 5-star person. A great credibility to this young man. And his performance at Ford Field in the state championship game was second to none. Just a fabulous one. Whoever gets him is going to be one lucky school.
I agree with everything Tom said. You know, it's a great year in the state. So for Drake to be on top with the list of guys that follows him, I think any of those guys can really stake some claim. But what he did in that state title game against double coverage, against some pretty good athletes in that Orchard Lake St. Mary's secondary, on 4th down, whenever they needed a play, that set him apart from the rest of the crop.
And then looking at on the field, once he gets to college, you look at how big of an impact a wide receiver can have. A Sammy Watkins at Clemson, a Julio Jones at Alabama in recent years. That's huge, and that's such a luxury for a quarterback at the next level.
Absolutely. It's going to be wild next season, no question about it. All right, let's go to number 2. 4-star guy, Malik McDowell out of Detroit Loyola, 6'6", 300, offensive tackle and a defensive end, uncommitted right now. Let's start with you, Kyle.
Well, you look at Malik, and he gave up basketball this year, so now he's taking the offseason to really focus on his body and get that into up to snuff. And, you know, you looked at him initially, he was a defensive end. Now he's more of a defensive tackle. Those long arms, he's really impressive to watch in camp sessions, but also on the field and on the gridiron in the fall.
I think the biggest thing with Malik is you can't teach 6'6", 300 pounds with that kind of athleticism. It seems like he gets bigger all the time and stays the same quickness, stays the same speed. I know some people have a question about the level of talent that he plays against in Division VII, but he dominated that each and every week. He's dominated better guys at camp. Anybody you've put in front of, he has done well against. So I have no questions about Malik McDowell at all.
I think his agility sets him apart from a lot of linemen at his size. You know, he was a great basketball player. Coach was telling me he could have been all-state in basketball. You know, that's his decision not to play basketball, and I think for the college recruiters, it's probably better that he's not. He can concentrate on football and concentrate on where he's going to school.
You know, and Alan's right. 1 through 3 could switch. You could really interchange these guys. But let's go to number 3. Back-to-back Division I state champs, Damon Webb out of Cass Tech, 4-star, 6 feet 175, wide receiver. He's also a defensive back. He has committed to Ohio State, had a slew of offers. Alan, your thoughts on Mr. Webb?
Well, obviously, you mentioned 6 feet for a corner, good size, very athletic, has played a lot of wide receiver, so you know he has some ball skills. I think the biggest thing with him, made big plays at big times. That Brother Rice game, he had the interception to seal the game. The state title game, he forced a few turnovers. He always seems to be around the football and making plays, and so that knack, in addition to his physical skills, are what makes him special.
Yeah, a lot of skill players out of Cass Tech.
You know, you look at all the great defensive defensive backs coming out of Cass Tech recently, Terry Richardson for one. Damon Webb is just another one of the slew, and he might be the best of the bunch.
No doubt.
Most impressive because we saw him during the summer. You see him in the 7-on-7s and different things like that. But once he got on the field, Alan, you mentioned the Brother Rice game, really showed out. And like he said, even late in the season, those big interceptions late in the game, big forced fumbles, that's what makes Damon Webb.
Yeah, they just keep reloading at Cass Tech. It really is unbelievable. I mean, just the blue chips alone, and it doesn't stop. Let's go to number 4, and let's go to the OAA. Southfield's Lawrence Marshall, 6'3", 205 defensive end. He's uncommitted. A lot of offers on the table. Let's start with you.
Well, I had a chance to see Southfield play a few times this year, and he really stood out on the defensive side, going from sideline to sideline, has the mean streak in him, likes to get to the quarterback. He's a can't miss. I really like this kid.
Yeah, the frame really stands out. I mean, his long arms that hang down to his knees almost, and then the ability to run, as Tom mentioned. There were a couple of plays I saw this year where he'd run the guy down to the opposite sideline. That's impressive for a kid who's going to be a defensive end. So they're going to bulk him up. He's going to keep that speed, and I think that kind of hybrid pass rusher that's kind of in vogue right now in football, he can be that kind of guy.
Southfield, always a lot of athletes.
Well, and that speed off the edge is so huge. You know, you see him at a recent combine out at the Silverdome, and he was unblockable in one-on-one situations. Obviously, it's advantageous for defenders in those situations, but was really impressive and, you know, getting pressure on the quarterback. That's the name of the game.
All right, and finally, our number 5 guy. We know this name, Bulla, especially Michigan State fans. He's out of Traverse City, St. Francis, same school his brother Max Bulla went to. 6'1", 205 safety. Got him ranked as a 3-star. Of course, going to Michigan State.
Absolutely, and the Bulla family has always said the youngest one is the athlete. He's the one who plays basketball, he plays guard, he plays tailback. He was playing corner for a couple of years. Now he's playing safety. The genes are starting to take over. He's starting to look more and more like a linebacker every day. I think he's going to end up at 6'2", 230 pounds like his brothers, end up playing linebacker in college, but he's a wonderful athlete.
All right, we got to leave it there, boys. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching our first ever State Champs Signing Day special. Thanks to our entire panel for sharing their insights tonight. Signing Day this Wednesday, February 6th. What surprises lay ahead? Only time will tell. For detailed coverage, read Tom Markowski in the Detroit News, Scott Bernstein in the Oakland Press, Kyle Bogenschutz at Fox Sports Next, Rico Beard at SpartanMag.com, Alan True at Fox Sports Net, recruiting.scout.com as well. Of course, watch State Champs Sundays at 11:30 a.m. on CW50 Detroit in Southeast Michigan and on WOTV ABC4 in Western Michigan. Good night, everybody.
State Champs Signing Day Special is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Possible is everything. Also brought to you in part by Oak Park Virtual Academy. Any Metro Detroit 6th through 12th grader can learn from home at myvirtualacademy.com/Oak Park. Athletes Edge USA. Get faster and improve your combine scores. And Skeleton 7v7 Passing League, the Detroit area's premier spring passing league at the Oakland Yard.